Hello friends, my name is Matt. I'm the youth and family pastor at Cornerstone Church in Marshfield, and I'm here today with your Cornerstone Connection, a daily devotional. So as I've told you before, there's many times that I simply just like to share the devotional that I have gone through, and currently I'm going through Timothy Keller's devotional and his wife Kathy on navigating life with God's wisdom. And so it's a devotional that takes us through the Proverbs and using God's wisdom to apply it to our lives as we navigate this thing called life here on earth. Well, a couple days ago I came across the devotional I was in led us to Proverbs chapter 24 verse 29. And I just want to read that verse for you because it's a great way to segue to the topic that I want to talk to you about today. Okay, so here's what Proverbs 24:29 says. It says this: do not say. That's really important. Do not say, I'll do to them as they have done to me. I'll pay them back for what they did. So the proverb says, do not say these things. I'll do to them as they have done to me. I'll pay them back for what they did. If we took those two comments and tried to summarize them in one word, I think the word you probably are thinking of right now is revenge, right? And so the Bible is telling us, when you've been wronged, when you've been hurt by somebody, when they've inflicted pain on you, do not say, I'm going to repay them, or I'm going to get them back, like we like to say in our culture today, right? But it's so hard, isn't it? It's extremely hard. It's in our broken DNA, it's in our broken flesh that you and I, when somebody hurts us, when somebody hurts our family, when somebody hurts our friends, when they inflict pain on us and put us through a difficult time, what we want to do is naturally put them through that same pain or perhaps even more. And this is so hard because God says, that's not what my people do. If you're one of my people, you don't do that. In fact, it tells us, God lets us know in Romans chapter 12, verse 19. Here's what we're told. It says this: do not take revenge, my friends, but leave room for God's wrath. For it is written, it is mine to avenge, I will repay, says the Lord. And so this whole idea of payback or revenge, this isn't something that's even in our job description as people. God says, that's my job. I'll take care of that. I'll make sure that everybody's held accountable for what they've done here on earth, what they've said here on earth, what they've thought here on earth. That's God's job. And that's hard for us sometimes to grasp. We want to make sure that justice is served. We want to make sure that somebody has endured the same pain we've endured when they've inflicted it upon us. And this is hard, but God says, it is mine to avenge, and I will repay. So with that as our backdrop, then what is our job? Well, as Keller goes on to write in that day's devotional, he goes on to tell us our job instead, if it's God's job to avenge and to repay, it's our job to forgive as God's people, right? And of course, we all owe God. And God could pay us all back for the sin that we have committed against Him, because we're in a fallen world, and friends, there's this thing called original sin, where we're all sinful. All have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And therefore, God could just easily pay us back for the sin we've committed against Him. And guys, that would not be good news. But instead, what He decided to do was to send us Jesus Christ to pay for our sin, so that we can stand before a holy God and say, I'm righteous and I'm redeemed, not because of what I've done, not because I've actually paid for my sin, but because Jesus did it for me. And so because God has forgiven us, it is our job then as followers of Christ to forgive. But what does it look like to actually forgive? Not just to say we forgive and then hold resentment. What does it actually look like to forgive? Well, here's how Keller defines it. He says to forgive is to refuse to hold people liable for what they have done to us. Let me read that one more time. To forgive is to refuse to hold people liable for what they have done to us. That is God's job, not ours. And if Jesus died to forgive you, listen to this, if He died to forgive you of your infinite debt to Him, how can you not forgive the wrongdoer his finite debt to you? That's something to dwell on, isn't it? We've been forgiven of the infinite debt that we've accrued. So the next time that we're wrong, that somebody hurts us or does something wrong against us, and they have a finite debt, consider the infinite debt you have to God. He cleared that through Christ. So may we then go and clear the debt of those who've sinned against us. It's what we do as a part of the family of God. Be encouraged, be challenged, friends, and we'll see you next time on the Cornerstone Connection.